Hello Year 9, welcome back to lesson 4 of our urbanisation topic. Today's lesson is called Urban Change, Opportunities and Challenges. So we're going to see what causes the change in urban areas and the dereliction of the UK, and then what opportunities and challenges can occur from that. Our key terms for today are positive multiplier effect. Right, so it sounds similar to negative multiplier effect, but this one is the introduction of a new industry in an area also encourages growth in other industrial sectors, leading to further growth. Multicultural. This relates to or containing several cultural or ethnic groups within a society. Urban greening. This is increasing or preserving open space in urban areas, for example parks. And brownfield site, we saw this last lesson. This is land that was previously built on or used and it's changing its use. For example, changing a factory into flats for housing. Right, here's your quiz, you know what to do. So, write down the answers. Did you get this, guys? Get your green pens out and let's go through them. The last one there is site. Okay, so last lesson we looked at the negative multiplier effect and what happened when we deindustrialized the inner city and what effects that had. Now I want you to have a look at what could be done if there was a positive effect. So we call this a positive multiplier effect. So is it possible to reverse the process below to create a positive multiplier effect? This is what we looked at last week. So this is where deindustrialization has happened, causing all these negative outcomes within the inner city. Okay, so how can we change this to make it positive? Give yourself about 10 minutes, guys, and really think about this. So you might want to copy this out again and change it so that all the effects in the chain are positive. Okay, so get your green pens out, let's have a look. This one is quite straightforward in some respects, but they could be quite tricky. If we have a look here, for example, we have the rundown and deprived inner city areas. Okay, we have that. If they started getting invested in, whereas people started to spend money on the area, this would lead to people moving back as employment increases. This would lead to the improvement of services, shops and pubs. They will reopen and crime will decrease. Local councils have greater capacity to invest in local services as there is more tax revenue. More people move back to urban areas. As there's more tax, so schools and healthcare can improve and aspirations in the area may increase. Educational outcomes therefore increase and employment and tax revenue increase. The area's reputation increases and becomes sought after. Lifestyles improve and drug, alcohol, crime is less likely. Therefore, the process repeats with further investments and more people want to move there and invest in the area. This investment can be opening up factories, cafes, restaurants, anything that will help improve the area and also offer employment. So in previous lessons we've studied that the impact of inner city decline when cities become derelict and unused. This is closely linked to deindustrialization. the closing of industry. We explored this as a negative multiplier effect. However, in some urban areas, this process of decline is reversed, and investment in redevelopment and re-imaging has led to many opportunities on these brownfield sites. So have a look at these 5 figures in front of you. They each show inner city areas. What is happening and how are they being redeveloped or reimagined? So using figure 1 to 5 and your own understanding, identify the opportunities that urban change is creating in these urban areas. So for example, figure number 1, it's the Notting Hill Carnival in London. How is that carnival giving some great opportunities for that part of London? So do that for the rest of them and give yourself 10 minutes. Okay, so get your green pens out and let's just see what you came up with. So for Notting Hill, I said that cities have become more multicultural as migrant families have moved in. So for example, in Notting Hill, this is all celebrating the Caribbean and African culture. Number 2, this brownfield land has been redeveloped with new shops and entertainment facilities. Number 3, old derelict buildings have been knocked down and urban greening has taken place, providing space for recreation and wildlife. New public transport systems have been improved to deal with congestion. And old terrace houses have been knocked down to replace with modern flats, encouraging young professionals to live in the city. Alright, for this activity, I'd like you to draw a table into your books or on your page. So the table that's here, so with the title Challenges of Urban Change and Opportunities of Urban Change. Within that, I would like you to write down the number for each of these statements to tell me whether they represent an opportunity or a challenge to urban change. So you just write the numbers in there and leave a gap. Afterwards, I would like you to write in 2 challenges and 2 opportunities into the correct column. I would like you then to develop these into a chain of reason. So where it says here for number 1, immigrant communities have been attracted to low-cost inner-city areas, meaning you're going to finish it off. What does that mean? Okay, so I'm going to show you an example. So for this one, which is number 8. New public transport schemes such as bus lanes, trams, means that there is a reduction in the number of cars being used and therefore reduced congestion. This means there will be less air pollution. So I want you to do that now, guys, with your table. Give yourself 10 minutes. Alright, so in your table you should have written down these numbers for opportunities and these numbers for the challenges. Now, for your chain of reason, I will mark those for you when you submit your work. Here is your extended writing activity. Let's have a read. It says here, inner city areas have greater opportunities than challenges. How far do you agree? So, you have to tell me whether you agree or disagree with this statement. Do you completely agree? Strongly? Are you undecided? Do you partially agree? Or do you disagree? And you have to use the success criteria here. Let's have a look at an example. Here it says, I strongly agree that inner city areas provide greater opportunities than challenges, especially socially and economically. For example, new migrant communities moving into cities have led to new businesses opening, such as at Curry Mile in Manchester. Therefore, new jobs and increased taxes. However, I partially agree, as inner cities continue to have some significant challenges. For example, in some areas unemployment remains high and homes are left empty. But overall, in the long run, there are more opportunities. So, does this meet the success criteria? They've given an assessment, they've said they strongly agree, they've used points, they've developed their points, they've used some place-specific information there by using Curry Mile from Manchester, and they've developed it. They've done another assessment for on the other hand. They've given a point, but they do not give a chain of reason. So overall, assessment in both paragraphs is strong. There is a good chain in paragraph 1 on opportunities. Paragraph 2 is a list of non-developed challenges. The conclusion is not clear, so therefore it does not meet the success criteria. Okay guys, so now it's your turn. How far do you agree with that? Use all of those points from the success criteria. Good luck!